Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mail Some Things Pretty's weekly live class. Today is Tuesday, December 30th, and I'm Christine Jousty. And thanks so much for joining in. I want to just give it a few seconds to make sure. I know it's a holiday week, so we'll see how many people watch live, but I just want to make sure um, all the systems are go, the volume's working, the video's working, and everything. I'll just give it a little bit. Um, but I actually have a couple things, different things to show you. Plus, we're going to make some cards. And so I'm going to use some new product that is being released in January. Hello, Nancy. All right, awesome. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to watch live because it's the holiday week. So thank you very much for watching and for letting me know that you're here. I have a few things. So I have some new products to show we're going to use. I'm going to go over my friend Anne Lewis, who's a demonstrator in Australia, and I talk about her all the time, and we do a lot of things together. We have our joint Zoom, not Zoom, joint meeting this Thursday evening, and we're changing things up a bit. So I'll talk about that a little bit. And then I also just received my what's it called? Virtual card making retreat kit. Stampin' Up is doing a virtual card making retreat in January. And so I just wanted to show you what's in the kit so you can kind of get an idea of what it's all about in case you were interested. And I want to show off my new shirt. My daughter got me a Savannah Bananas shirt. If you don't know what the Savannah Bananas, they are a fun baseball team. It's awesome. And if anyone knows them, my daughter would love to work for them. So let me know. There's nothing like networking. All right, so let's get to business here. Let me remember how to do this. There we go. Actually, I'll show you this real quick and then I'm gonna move it. But this is the new there's a glare. There's a new stamp set and dies. This is what we're going to use today. And spoiler alert, I'm also using this on Thursday for the live with Anne. So let me move this to the side for a second, and then I will talk lots about that. So Anne and I, once a month, we do a joint live together where before we have come up with a theme or a challenge or a product or something, and then each of us makes it. They tend to be kind of long, like towards an hour and a half long, and that is way too long. It's just too long. So when we were out in California driving to get around, we were coming up with all ideas. So we came up with this idea. So let's see if this works. It should be shorter, but also more importantly, it gets you creating with us. So it's kind of like, I'm sure you've heard of mystery stamping. So we're just calling it Let's Create Together, because that's exactly what we do. So I sent this out my email this morning. I will be posting it on my Facebook page, but these are the measurements. So um, you can use any papers, any colors, any focal point, but this is kind of the measurements that I'm going to be using. And I just gave you a spoiler about the paper I'm using, but I have other samples to show you that are different. So hopefully you will either pre-cut stuff ahead of time, and as we are making it live, you are making your own together. Or you can always go back and make it after. Or cut while we're doing live, because I'll be cutting everything live too. So that's kind of what that's it. Would love to hear your feedback on that. Because it changed, but we think it'll be fun. We want it to be more interactive. We want to kind of stamp with you as best we can. Okay, so the other thing I just mentioned was the virtual card making retreat. Stampin' Up! Did one of these over the summer, and it was for scrapbooking. So I did not attend. I'm not a scrapbooker, but I know lots of people are. A lot of people signed up. Anne was one of them, and fabulous reviews. Like they loved it. That one was 3 days long, and it's done in a Facebook group. So you do kind of have to have a Facebook account. Doesn't mean you have to comment or anything, but you access everything through Facebook. And so everything, like your kit, is all the products that you're going to be making, and then you kind of same thing, you kind of make your stuff together. So I just wanted to show you because it's hard to kind of see online. This whole thing is what I received as my kit, plus access to this is a 2-day retreat of all the videos and all the extra stuff, whatever they're going to show. I think there's prizes and stuff. So this is what it is. So you get two stamp sets, and you cannot order these except for through this kit. I looked, and I tried. You can only order them on the kit. So if you like them, you kind of have to order the whole kit. So you get 2 stamp sets, and I actually really like the scripts of all the words. This is a really big flower, just so you can see the size. Like, so it's a good size flower, and the words. And so that is just one of them. So you get the 2 stamp sets, you get dies. So, and these are dies that can be used for all sorts of reasons. So it looks like, I haven't even taken them apart yet. Looks like you get a frame and there's a separate flower here, but you get these nice shaped frames. You get 3 different ones and flowers and leaves and so forth. So those are the dies that come with the kit. And I think, I already forget. I think we're making like 15 cards. So you get a QR code so you can scan it to join the group and the directions. It's actually kind of funny. I'm using these today. These you can order separate, but you get the dots. You get these are called flip flaps, which is a scrapbooking thing. And I think you put them on and then I don't know, they're make interactive. So anyways, you get 3 of those. You get all your envelopes. You get a whole pack of white paper. This might be hard to see. There's some frames, there's some dots, there's flower cutouts, there's hearts, there's all different punch outs. Looks like this shape here is that we can stamp the flower. So it's already pre-cut. So those are die cuts, and you get paper. Isn't that pretty? So again, you cannot order this anywhere else except for in the kit. But the cool thing, besides the nice patterns of paper, is I just noticed, oh, that's two-tone paper. When you flip them over, it's actually, can you see? Yeah, it's giving us cutting directions. So they'll explain this all on the videos, but it tells us, it's kind of nice. It's doing a lot of the work for us. So I'm excited to do it. So if you would like to join me and join everyone else who signs up, the code to sign up, well, the item number is 170023. It is $165. So it's not inexpensive, but you get 2 stamp sets of dies, you get all the supplies to make 15 cards and access to all the videos and training and so forth. So you do get a lot. All this stuff. This is what you get. So the retreat is on. You don't have to attend live. Some of it's going to be too late for me to attend live at night. It's January 22nd, 23rd, but everything will be replays and you'll have access it to, I'm sure, like for a really long time, if not forever. So anyway, that is the virtual album. Nope, the virtual card retreat. Called it the wrong thing. Okay, let's get down to business. This is what we're going to do. So this is new paper. That's when I actually got 2 packs. So this is sealed, but it's kind of cool. You get 3 sheets instead of 2 sheets of each print. It's upside down. I'm going to show you. I just took 1 sheet for each. So it's called Lovely Blossoms. It's a little petal pink in there. It's really pretty. So this is actually the sheet we're going to work with today. And I don't usually create with these sheets. I usually use the reverse side, which I like. But we're actually going to use this today. And a nice secret C, the fun flowers. So you get 3 sheets of each. So you still get 12 sheets of paper, but and I know for when I cut for club, like these 3 sheets make me happy because I get a little bit more to work with. All right, so this is the sheet I'm going to work with, and I'll show you. No, I'm not going to show you the cards. We'll just make the cards. How's that? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to measure. So I can see, there's lines here. So I'm just going to put, it actually is 6 inches. This part is 6 inches. But I'm just going to put the line right up in my cutting track so I can kind of see. And so, I didn't do a good job. So I'm going to trim that off. Oh, I see, because my arm was crooked. Just actually, you know what? I'm not even going to trim that off because we're going to trim this down anyways. So I'm just going to put the kind of it's kind of like the seam and the groove there. I'm just going to cut these. So now these are going to be 4x6, which is a little bit. The 4 is good for our cards, but the 6 is a little bit too tall. So we will trim those down. And then you have these guys. So same thing, like you can just put that right in the groove. And then you can cut these individually. I actually have a sample showing you one of those and also using these. But again, you can just kind of cut so you get all these little squares. Or you can always use the reverse side. So I like having choices. All right, so we're gonna really kind of work with these 3. So for a card, normally, my first layer in a card is 4x5 1/4. So right now this is 4x6. So I have to trim it. So I'm gonna trim. So the 4 is good, the width. So I'm gonna trim a little bit. So you could just take a 1/4 inch off each side. So then that becomes 5.5. So if you were going to, I have a card base. Sometimes people, oh, that didn't, I was going to say cover up. So you could do it. So there's just borders on either side, but I actually want to take a little bit more off. So I'm just going to take 1/8 of an inch on the top and 1/8 of an inch on the bottom, so that when I'm finished, that is the 5 1/4, which is what I need to have an even border all around. You can trim these however you want, but that's kind of how I'm doing it. So I think one of these I trimmed more. Actually, this one I ended up trimming more. But I didn't bring up. Shoot. Hold on. Luckily, I have a stack of one color. Hopefully, still, yep. Not a full color. But that's fine for crumb cake. It's funny. I'm almost out of crumb cake and old olive, which is like the colors in this paper. So I'll save that for a little bit. So this one I cut smaller. I'm going to show it to you because I need to measure. So this is the final product. So this one I made a little bit smaller. I made it to be 3.5 by 4 3/4. So I'm just gonna eyeball that. Just took a bunch off and I want it to be 4 3/4. And that I just wanted to kind of have similar borders and that worked out. And this one I said need to be 3.5. So it's 4 now. So I'm just gonna take a 1/4 off each side. Okay. So this is the only one that was a little smaller. And I'll show you why when we get to that one. And then I just needed to trim one more, right? This one. So the 4 is here, and I needed to make that. So really I took a 1/4 off and an 1/8. So I'm going to do that step all at once. So a 1/4 and then an 1/8. So now that is 5 1/4. All right. So now I have my layers. You can trim yours however you'd like, depending on what your card's going to be. That's kind of what mine were. And I'm just going to move these straps out of the way. Okay. And we're done with the trimmer for now. I think I have to do one more thing. All right, so we're gonna do these in the order actually that I made them. Not that it matters to you. Okay, so this is crumb cake base, and it's just a standard base. It was 8.5 by 4 1/4, and I scored it in half at 4 1/4. I think I said that wrong. I scored it in half at 4 1/4, but it is 5.5 long. I feel like I'm out of practice doing lives. I'm just going to glue this directly down. Must be holiday brain. tried to tidy up before I came up here because everything was getting a little bit messy. All right. So that in of itself could be a very pretty card. The work is already done for us, but I felt like as a card maker, I kind of wanted to do a little bit more to feel like I had more in the card. So what I'm going to do is look for some white that I did not bring up. Oh no, I usually had scrap white right here, but here it is. Okay, this table that I'm using was our wrapping station. So everything got moved all different places. All right. So the stamp set, let me find it again. Where did I move it? Tell me, where did I move it? Maybe got mixed up in. Oh, here. I did. Okay. This is a stamp set. So this is available in. Hi, Cindy. Don't worry about joining late. I've really kind of just started. I showed a whole bunch of things ahead of time. This is a stamp set that will be available on January 6th, and it's in the online exclusive section. So it's not in the new mini catalog. It is in the online exclusives, but they both go live the same day. And I really like it. I love this paper that we're using, and I actually really I like the font. I like a lot of these words. I don't know if I'll use all of them, but I'll use a lot of them, and I like the flowers. And then the dies are fun. I particularly like this one, which I used one of the samples uses that. I try not to use too much of it because I wanted to highlight this paper. So let me backtrack a little bit. So what I'm doing, so first of all, Stampin' Up! Has redesigned their packaging. I was a little late to the game. This was my first one that I received. I know some demonstrators had ordered some earlier on and have them and have done all this information about them, but this is my first one that I received. And so I've been asked, like, how are we going to store the new ones? Because the other ones look like, DVD, like the hard plastic with the DVD thing. So I'm figuring that out. But for right now, to be honest, they're probably just going in a shoebox or something, and I'll just keep them together and then flip through them. Like, I'll figure that out. But what I am doing for the insides, so this one has two larger dies, and this one I'm really excited to use lots and lots. But so I'll probably leave these ones attached just to it's pretty sticky tape. But the little pieces, what I think I'm going to be doing, I started, is the clear envelopes that we sell. I'm just going to put the little pieces in here because I can see them, and then they won't really get lost on my table, and then just store them this way. I'm not going to put magnet sheets in here. I know some people do that. I have magnet sheets that go in the plastic bin, but they won't fit, and I don't want to cut them down. And so for now, I think this system will work, at least for now. So that's what I'm going to do. Just keep them in a clear envelope and find them on the table. And so that works. So for the stamp sets, because they design them so that it's really the same envelope, and you can buy extra envelopes, they're the same size intentionally so that you can kind of put them together. And I will say that this envelope is much easier to use than some of their older envelopes. Like, this just slides right into the sleeve really nice. So I'm happy about that. So your stamp set comes, actually I can show you one that I haven't done yet, because I just got this one. The stamp set comes on this acetate. So this is a thinner and this is a much thicker. And so what I did, I measured, and so I'll do this is what I'm going to do for each of mine, and maybe I'll do a separate video on it too. I just measured the size of the acetate because they're all different depending on the size of your stamp set. So whatever the measurement is, I cut it with white paper. And then what I did is I'll do it here. I took the flimsy piece off, and I inked up I did smoky slate because I didn't want it to, well, not that it would stain. I just did smoky slate. And I took my ink pad. I will do a separate video on this. Um, and inked up my stamp, the whole thing, the whole sheet attached. And then I pretend that's the piece of paper I cut. And I just inked it down. And so then what I did, so I took the flimsy one, I put glue just on the outsides because it's the same size. I glued it down. So what that resulted in is this. So that's the piece underneath is the piece that I stamped. I have that shiny piece on top. And so now I can just keep this as a sandwich. And so when I use a stamp, I peel it off, but when I'm done, I'm gonna put it, they're gonna kind of go upside down as if I stamped it here. And then I can just line this back up. And so I can kind of read what the words are and I can see where they all go. And so that I think is going to be my system for the stamps of keeping them inside the envelopes. We'll see, but so far I'm happy with it. Put this back on. And so I will do another, a designated video that you could find and watch and stuff. I know people are doing different things. So, but that's what I think I'm going to do. All right, so now we need to stamp. So I'm gonna stamp. So for now, I'm gonna just leave them separate, that up and that here. And I'm going to use my block. I'm gonna use my favorite color, my new favorite color, Secret Sea. I really hope they keep this around. I'm gonna stamp my flower. And it's clean and crisp and pretty and it matches a lot of the papers. So it's kind of the same flower that's on that paper and then that paper. I like it. So I think I've already stamped a bunch of them, but I just wanted to stamp one of them. I'm going to leave that open just in case. So we'll cut that out. We're going to use a die, but I'll use my mini machine. So this piece of paper is too wide for the mini machine. Okay. Oh, shit. I'm going to just put those like that for now so I don't lose them. Put them back in the case. All right. So we need to get back to our cut. So we're going to cut out my flower. And the dies, they match up. Once I can find them, they match up. This one matches up real easy. Oh, and actually, let me show you the shapes of the die before I cut it out. So you get a nice oval, which I like this shape a lot. Actually, I'm going to leave that out because I'm going to use it. And you get this nice little rectangle for the words. And then you get a leaf that goes with the stamp, the two flowers that go with the stamps, and then you get these two nice textured leaves. I think this is going to work because otherwise I'm going to lose them. Leave those out because we need to use it. Okay. So this will just get lined up. There we go. It moved. I know we say this all the time. It's sometimes hard to line up because the camera is right at my head. I'm at like right where I want to put my head. I'm doing a little bit on an angle. Okay. See, pretty flower. Easy, easy. Okay. And to make it match the flower, similar, I brought my cloud cover Stampin' Blends because that's the light blue on here. I'm going to use the light, and all I'm going to do is just kind of trace over the lines, the inside lines, not the outside. And it just makes it kind of come alive a little bit. That's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually put this one on top. So it's not, this is not the same flower. And there is, you will see a little white space underneath. So we're going to manipulate it a little bit. We are going to, I've already pre-cut some leaves. Oh, you know what? I don't want the green ones. I want the blue ones. I'm going to mimic the blue leaves on here. Use the green leaves for something else. All right. So what I'm gonna actually open this up so it just sits flat. I want my flower. You can, again, your flower can go any way. So whichever way you think covers up the most of it, maybe go that way. And then I'm gonna stick some flowers. I kind of want them similar direction, right? Because I don't want them to look not natural. So this one will go here, and then I have a little bit down here. Let's see. That kind of works. It's hiding most of the white. I think that's good. So what I'm going to do is carefully lift that up and then just hope that I get it in the same spot. And I will have a little wiggle room. Now again, I could have left it plain, but I just wanted to feel like I did a little bit more on the card. Okay, so that works. So now I'm going to use some dimensionals. Get them. I'm going to put 2 on there. And it covers up pretty close to most of the white, so that's good. And then I'm going to put some words on there. So I'm going to stamp, I'll just do this one, thank you. Let me put these away. All right, so here's thank you. And in my blue. So I stamped it not in the middle because this oval is wide enough for like the sending smiles, but it's a little wide for the thank you. So what I'm going to do is, I've showed this before and I like doing this. I'm going to make it smaller. So I'm just going to now kind of offset my oval. So I'm going to try to have the similar white space on this side as on this side. And so I'm going to flip it over just to make sure that it's in the same track. You could put down washi tape or some sort of tape. I'm just going to wing it here and hope that it stays in place. I will say this one does tend to wobble a little bit, like the stylish shapes one, or some of the rectangles don't, but that have like the stitching, there's a little bit more grooves in there. But anyways, that's how I made that a little bit smaller. All right, and so that is going to go there. And so what I did on the one that I'm copying from, I used the ribbon, which is part of the suite. It's beautiful. It has a little texture to it. I don't know if you can see. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to flop that over. Actually, this one I might do a little bit different. No, I'm going to do what I did. I'm going to flop it over I've done this before. Okay. I think today's video is going to be much longer than I anticipated because I was going to make 3 cards. I'm still on my first. But the other ones, some of the work I've already done. So we'll see how it goes. I put my block on here, take my linen thread. My block's just like a extra finger holding it down. After that I twist it this way. Oops. There we go. Just hold it down so now I can take a knot or a bow. Trim it. There we go. And then there's a little extra. And then I'm going to take tear and tape. Just put some tear and tape down. So when I put like a flat ribbon down, the tear and tape works. Because now it will just stick on here. And if it's in the wrong spot, like you can pick it up and move it. So I like using that for the flat ribbon. And then the thank you, it doesn't always stick well to the ribbon. So I'm going to kind of lower it down a little bit. And actually, I'm just going to glue it down. Sometimes I use a dimensional. But this one, I'm just going to put glue on the bottom. I suppose actually I can put a little on the top too, because then it will stick to the glue. Like that. And that will take a minute to dry, but there we go. So that is kind of a little bit more than just the plain paper because I added it. So it's kind of like a hybrid card. And then this is kind of what you can do with those ephemera packs that you can kind of do multi-use. Okay, so let's see if I can go a little faster. This was the next one. Already cut it, and I'm going to use cloud cover as my base on this one. And I'm just going to glue that straight on. Again, this could be pretty just as it is, especially if you need a quick card. I like these colors. They're kind of calming, which is really nice in January after the busy holidays. All right, so this one, I've already cut a flower. I've already stamped it and cut it. So it's the second flower that's in that pack. But I am going to do that same thing with the marker. Just going to go over the lines. And on this one, it has like, this leaf is kind of curled up and a little bit on the side. So I'm just going to put a little bit of blue, just a little bit, on the kind of on the lines of the petals. So it's not just like it's just white. All right. So this one, I'm going to actually pop right on top right here. And this is where I'm going to use those green leaves that I pre-cut. And you can stick in as many or as little as you like. I think I'm going to just do 3 like that. So same thing, I'm going to lift it up. I'm just going to put some glue. Glue. Oop. Make sure that's where I wanted it. That works. And then put dimensionals. Like that. Again, it just elevates it just a little bit more. And then simply gonna use the ribbon, but this time I'm just going to cut a flat strip. So this is just gonna go like that. And I'm gonna use the tear and tape. If I can find it. There it is. Just gonna put that flat down. So when I'm doing that live on Thursday with Anne, I will be using the same paper and stamp set. And you guys can use anything because the technique, the fold that I'm showing lends itself to really so many possibilities. All right, I'm going to use another one of those strips. And this time, instead of the thank you, I'm going to use Sending Smiles, which I really like. I could find the stamp set. Here it is. There's a hello friend, there's Sending Smiles, there's a bunch of them. I like the size, the font, it's kind of, it's bigger than our normal words. So this one fits perfectly on the oval. Don't need to trim it. And this is just gonna go right on there. So this one I'm actually gonna glue. And that one's gonna go right on the ribbon. And I am gonna use those dots. And so this is part of the suite. And oh, one already came off my finger, but I'm gonna use the light blue, the cloud cover. I put it in a different spot. So this one I'm going to do slightly different than the sample I'm copying. It's going to go the opposite. I'll show you in a second. So that one's going to go down like that. So this is the one I was copying from. I just did two up here and one down below, and that's just opposite, but really kind of fun. All right, so the third one that I'm going to make has, we're going to use Secret Sea is our base. This one I'm actually going to emboss. The new embossing folder. This is also part of this suite. So I'll see if I can gather up all the stuff that comes with this suite. It's called Lovely Stripes. And gotta see, there's some like dots in there and then the stripes. It's really nice and it's really textured. You'll see in a second. So I'm gonna put this, actually how I like to do this is I open it up because I want the stripes in the card to go sideways. So the paper's gonna have to overhang. So I line up the score line here and here on the edge. But this one you can also line up because there's stripes. You can make sure that it will be nice and straight. So this is going to go through. I have to use the big machine because it's too big for my mini. So I'm going to put this in like that. And it's a 3D folder, so you need the gray plate on top. And it's a tight, it's a tight fit. Ugh. So because of that, you're gonna see that's a lot of texture. Look at that texture in there. It's nice. All right, so this one it's just a little bit different. Okay. So we're using this one that we cut, it seems like ages ago. This one was, remember, cut a little bit smaller. And so this is gonna go on top. So this is a little, it's thinner paper. So you could put it directly on, or this one I cut crumb cake, so it's similar color, or it is the same color, just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to do that because it gives it a little bit more stability. And I'm looking for my ruler. I'll just use this. I'm sorry, remember. I'm just going to make an 1/8 of an inch bigger. So this was 3.5 by 4 3/4. So this one I'm going to do. This has to go this way. 4 3/4. I'm going to make it just an 1/8 of an inch bigger. And then it was 3.5. So I'm going to make that an 1/8 of an inch bigger. And it's really just to give a little weight to the paper because this, because it has all that texture, it just needs something to grip to it. So this will go on top like that. And it's just going to be a teeny, skinny little border. You can make yours however you like, but I wanted this paper to shine. So it just has a tiny little border. But again, now it's a sturdier that will fit on that better. And because of all those grooves, normally I would just do that much glue. I'm going to add a little bit more glue so that it has a little bit more to stick to. And that's just going to go right there. These colors are just so nice. All right, so we're going to use, I already did that paper. So rather than use the crumb cake, not the crumb cake, the cloud cover to outline on this one, I'm going to use Petal Pink, which is one of the colors in this suite. It's not on this paper, but it is part of that suite. So I figured just to change it up a little bit. But you could use cloud cover if you want. You can use any color you want. I'm just kind of going over those lines, not even perfectly. And then I am going to take the dark cloud cover and I'm just going to make some dots that are on these darker blue dots, just to give a little bit of depth. Maybe a little bit. So I'll show you. So it just gives a little bit more color. So that's going to go right on top of that one, which works just as it is. We don't have to hide anything, but, oh, do I have any more leaves? Oh, I do. I have 3 more leaves. So I'm just going to add some leaves. It just gives a little bit more. I'll just do the same thing. That in there. Oops. Put that on top. Make sure those can be seen. Yep. And then use dimensionals again. Keep losing them. I'm running out of them too. All right, so that's going to go like that, but I'm going to move that around. Okay, so that again just pops it up a little bit. And the only other thing we're going to do is, remember that they had this die and the oval die for the words. So I already pre-cut this, that one, in Petal Pink, again, to mimic the Petal Pink I just used. And I'm going to find my stamp set. And there's a happy birthday in here. I'm going to, I'd have to put this closer to my face though so I can see what I'm doing. Because it is skinny. And I have a couple extra in case I made a mistake. Nope, not too bad. All right, so again, I offset that a little bit. And so all I'm going to do for this one, you could use your paper trimmer, but it's so skinny, I'm just going to trim that off. And then I'm going to use, this is where the foam strips come in handy. So I'm just going to line this up and then cut it a little bit smaller than the paper. So that's one way of, so you're not really guessing the size you need, measuring up. So they fit right on there. And I could have put it flat, but I kind of liked how it's popped up. Happy birthday. And then I'll just add these colors together. There we go. And I'm just going to put a big one up there. Whoops. See if I can get it. It's like leapfrog. Here we go. Oh. Ah. All right, I'll get that later. Put another one maybe here and a little one. And you could mix them up different colors, but these ones I kind of did just solid colors. So, oh, and the only other thing, it's here. Oh, here it is. I did an inside because it's so dark. And I just used the back of that paper that we've been using, just a little 1/2-inch strip. And that goes right in there. It's kind of fun. I like seeing the texture on the inside and then the stripes going the other way. So there we go. So those are, I'll show you those 3 cards I just made again, and then I'm going to show you 2 other samples. And it's all out of, I'll just pack, but here's the paper, right? It's all that sheet of paper. And then I just added little pop-up elements to make the card shine a little bit more. So we're just using kind of the printed paper as a nice background paper. And then the other 2 I did was this one. So this uses all those squares on that was on the edge. I just put 3 squares and added the same paper. And again, I made that thank you a little bit smaller, like I showed you. And this time I used the stamped leaves. And then this one was the smaller pieces here. So I just cut that here, and then I added that awesome texture from the dyes. I was dying to use it. And so I just added that there and the same kind of thing. So there we go. So it's Lovely Blossoms. It comes out on January 6th, right? Lovely Blossoms, yep. Along with the stamp set. Let's see, the stamp set, the dies, really pretty ribbon. Oops. And the little gems. Is there anything else? I think that's it in the suite. But it's fun. I liked it a lot. So I don't usually use those printed papers, so I just wanted to show you that you could use them pretty easily enough and just kind of pop on a flower. So that's what I had. I'm glad you liked it, Cindy. Thank you. All right. Let me see. I remember how to do this. There we go. So that took a little longer than I thought it was going to take. Sorry about that, but hopefully you enjoyed them. And then if you're just joining in late at the beginning, I talked about Thursday, I'm doing my joint live with Anne, and we're doing it different. So I sent it out my email. I will post them on the Facebook page, but there's cutting measurements. So our intention is that you will create cards or a project with us. While we're doing our live, you'll be doing it also. And so we're going to give you the measurements ahead, kind of like a mystery stamping, but we're just calling it Let's Create Together. Um, and then the other thing I showed you at the beginning of this video was what is included in that virtual card making retreat kit. And that's happening on January 22nd, 23rd. Stampin' Up! Is running that. I'm excited. But I wanted you to see kind of what went into it because sometimes it's hard to tell by a picture. So, oh, and the other thing I actually didn't mention is I do have a paper share for the new mini catalog and some of the online exclusives. So this paper's part of it. Um, and that I will send out, I think you just go to mailsomethingpretty.com/paper share. That will bring up to the link. I'll send that out too, and you have till January 8th on that to sign up. Okay. So yeah, so happy New Year. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. I hope you have fun and be safe and craft. And so on January 1st, on New Year's Day, is when I'm doing the live with Anne. And so hopefully you'll join us live or certainly on the replay. So thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye-bye.